Attention to orders! The sound of hundreds of boot heels slamming together echoed through the chamber. Effective immediately, Senior Captain Celesta Wright is promoted to the rank of Rear Admiral. Her selfless dedication and sacrifice to Starfleet, the United Terran Federation, and humanity as a whole is well documented. Her heroism in the Phage War, along with her quick thinking and decisive actions in the battle for Jewel, ensured the planet was not lost to the Darshik. Admiral Wright will immediately assume the post of Chief of Operations, 7th Fleet. At ease. There was the rustle of clothing as everyone in the cargo bay relaxed from attention, most adopting a loose parade rest. The ceremony was as Celesta had wanted it, with only the people who had actually served with her and without the unnecessary pomp that she found so grating about most fleet ceremonies. "Admiral?" "Thank you, Admiral Pitt," she said, the microphone hidden under the shirt collar of her dress blacks amplifying her voice. "I will keep my remarks brief, so that we aren't standing in this cold cargo bay any longer than we have to." There was a dutiful spat of laughter from the crowd as she collected her thoughts. "As the old guard moves on, and the leadership from the Phage War retires, it will be up to many of you to shape the future of Starfleet in such uncertain times. We're in the midst of great political upheaval, divisions between the enclaves that may be irrevocable, and a new enemy at the gate. But amidst this darkness, there are some points of light. Starfleet has been reinvigorated and given new purpose, something that was sorely lacking in the previous centuries. Advances are coming so quickly that new generations of starships are being designed before the previous even enter service. We will prevail. While the odds may seem long right now, have faith in your officers and in each other. I am honored to be given the opportunity to serve and help continue the work of transforming the mighty 7th Black Fleet into the Federation's premier fighting force. Let's get to work." With a nod, she stepped away from the edge of the stage to a round of enthusiastic applause that went on even after she'd walked off the back of the platform and made her way to the hatchway. She'd taken the posting as 7th Fleet's Chief of Operations under protest. The Icarus, a Starwolf-class destroyer and her first command, was being decommissioned after the last depot-level inspection showed that she had far too much structural damage from her many battles to safely be put back into active service. Celesta naturally assumed that she'd be given command of a newer class of destroyer, or even moved up into one of the latest boomers that were being put through their paces in final flight testing. But while she sat in limbo on the New Sierra platform, the new official headquarters for the Federation Starfleet, waiting for the Icarus to be fully decommissioned, the leadership structure of the organization was turned upside down. President Augustus Wellington, not a particularly healthy man when he assumed office, died unexpectedly from a massive heart attack just a month prior, and the procedure for succession within the newly minted Federation was a bit muddy. It was assumed that the only recently appointed Vice President Nelson would step in, but more than a few PMs saw the sloppily worded order of succession as an opportunity. From what Celesta had been able to see in the media, however, Nelson was moving quickly to solidify support and cement his position as chief executive, even going so far as to begin making his own appointments. Wellington's death was only unexpected because even for someone who enjoyed excess as much as Wellington had, modern medicine had been able to all but eliminate heart disease. Suspicions of foul play weren't being seriously entertained, but it was still a hot topic of discussion down on the surface of New Sierra, the Federation's capital world. While the news personalities in the capital city ran with stories of intrigue surrounding the former president's death, Vice President Nelson was quietly using the emergency powers granted him in the Federation's charter to shuffle people around in key positions within the military. Some of those who were asked to leave came as a surprise to everyone. "Short and to the point, I'd have expected nothing else." Celesta turned at the familiar voice to see a well-groomed, middle-aged man leaning against the bulkhead in a civilian suit that looked brand new. "Admiral Markham," she said with a polite nod. "It's just Joseph Markham now," the former CENTCOM Chief of Staff said. "My retirement was made official as of 0500 this morning. I'm here on a day pass so that I can clean my office out and say goodbye. Do you have a minute?" When Celesta hesitated, he raised his hands in a placating gesture and stepped in closer to her. "I understand that you may be one of those celebrating my ouster," he went on, "but I think that I have some useful advice that a newly promoted admiral might need, especially one that has spent most of her career as a warrior and not a politician." "Very well, Admiral," Celesta said, refusing to call the man by his first name. It was partially out of respect for the rank he once held, but also for the officer she had once thought him to be. Her mentor, legendary starship Captain Jackson Wolfe, thought her to be laughably naive when it came to the trust she put in flag officers. Now that she was one, and he was not, she wondered if his hard, fast rule regarding the Admiralty applied to her. "My old office should give us a place to have a chat without being overheard," Markham said. "And congratulations, Admiral. Despite the recent friction between us, I want you to know I consider you to be the best starship captain I had under my command. And that includes the other guy." Celesta could only shake her head at the reference to Captain Wolfe. If ever there was someone Markham would have wanted to see booted out of the fleet before his own retirement, it would have been the maverick from Earth that had been a perpetual thorn in his side.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.